So Lauri Markkanen is insanely talented, as the guy put up nearly 20 points a game for the Bulls last year in what was a pretty weird season. When we're talking about the whole thing with the coach, who I don't remember his name off the top of my head right now. Injuries kind of across the board, like Wendell played half the year, Markkanen played a little over half the year. They traded for Otto in the last leg of the season. Even then, he missed some games. So it was just a really odd season for the Bulls. And even with that, I think Markkanen showed, especially, I think it was in February. I did a whole video on this. Now I don't remember. But he had a month, which was really something wild. And so now my question is he going to continue it going into his third season? We hope he's healthy. If we assume he is, then I think getting over 20 points a game is definitely in the cards for Markkanen. I mean, the talent's just there. The ball handling for his size at 7 feet is pretty wild. The shot is, of course, a thing. And I do think Markkanen has begun to show a little bit of that, like, give me the damn ball mentality. I don't think he's had that throughout his whole career, but I do think he figured out in a stretch this previous year that there are nights when he could be the best player on the floor. So I hope just moving forward he has that mentality. But there are definitely other things in play here. Some of it I think is the roster around him. I mean, there's a chance that Zach LaVine just hijacks the offense. I mean, Zach took 18 shots a game this previous year, and yeah, I mean, his stat line was definitely better than what I thought he could do. But even so, I do think Zach's playmaking leaves a bit to be desired with how often he had the ball. And yeah, they just went and selected Kobe White, and they also signed Sato. So those are two guys who you hope can just have the offense be a little bit more balanced, where, you know, between LaVine, Porter, Markkanen, Wendell, there can just be a nice balance of shot attempts. But not only that, but a nice balance of ball handling, because I think LaVine had the ball a lot this last season. And, you know, for what it's worth, in a reduced offensive role, I think Chris Dunn can still help out in that area as well. But I just hope that this team knows that Markkanen is the guy. Now, there's a chance I'm wrong, and maybe LaVine should be the number one dude here. But I just really think it should be Lauri. I feel like if you compare like what it takes for LaVine to give you 25 a game and what it takes for Markkanen, I just think those are two totally different things. I don't think Markkanen needs to dominate the ball as much. I think the ball can still zip around from player to player, and it can just end up in Markkanen's hands, and whether it's a three-pointer or a post-up on a mismatch or just creating out of nothing with like 7 seconds left, I just think he can do more for your offense than LaVine can. Doesn't mean Zach LaVine's a bad player, but I also think, again, there's a chance Zach might just be like, look, I was the man last season, and I'm going to keep on doing that, and Markkanen's going to be my number 2 guy, and I just don't think that should be the way it is. So hopefully that just doesn't hold Markkanen back. But even so, past that, I do think Markkanen's shot selection is an interesting thing. So he's attempted about 5-6 threes a game into his career up to this point. That's pretty good. I think it should be more. I think he can get up to like 8 to 9 threes a game, maybe even 10 or 11, because I just don't really see why not. When you're as good of a shooter as he is, and you can have the impact at the power forward position like that, I mean, bombs away as far as I'm concerned. Now, I do think with the signing of Thad Young, they are going to at least think about Markkanen at center, and that could totally break defenses. Granted, you can dare Thad Young to shoot. You can also dare Wendell to shoot for when, you know, it's Wendell and Markkanen together. But still, Markkanen at center does sound pretty damn frightening for a lot of NBA defenses. But I also want to know how often he's going to be shooting at the rim, or as close to it as possible. NBA.com tells me that Markkanen has posted up about 2.5 times a game in his career up to this point. I'll be honest, I really don't know if he's a good post-up player or not. But I'd like to think that could be a bit of a matchup problem for teams. I mean, I guess against some it wouldn't be, like against the Bucks with Giannis at the 4, or the Pacers with Sabonis, but I think there are some teams in the East where their 4s are definitely bigger than like your average wing, but they're not 7 feet tall. So perhaps there are some chances for Markkanen to post up more. I definitely think he could post up if he gets switched on to like a wing or a guard or something. But I think part of that's also going to be Markkanen demanding the ball, because while his game from a finesse standpoint can do a lot for him, it would be nice if at times he just has a bit of an FU, I'm going to the rim mentality against teams, but I don't know. I don't think he's a soft player. I don't want to act like I'm saying that. But, just is there another level to him just being physical as an offensive player? I mean, you look at his free throws per game, they're not very high. They're like 4 attempts a game this previous season, and with how good of a free throw shooter he is, you would hope he could have a decent amount of trips there. Of course, just more basic pick and rolls could be a thing, but at the same time, the three-pointer and just the general spacing, and also being able to go off the dribble from the three-point line are going to be the main parts of Markkanen's offensive game. But it'd be nice, some more things around the rim. To look at his shot selection a little bit more, Basketball Reference tells me he takes over 1/3 of his shots, or about that, I guess, from within like floater range to long two-pointer range. And his percentages, especially when it turns into a jump shot from mid-range, are really not that good. So whether it's him just keep on attempting those because he's going to be good at those, I mean, I'd like to think he can be a great mid-range shooter, but up to this point he has not been. Or just stop doing them as much and just have it be a whole bunch of threes and just shots at the basket, of course leading to more free throws, being like the 7-foot James Harden in a way. I think that's the way for Markkanen to be the offensive player that I think he can be. As far as his defense and all that stuff, I mean, he's 7 feet tall. I don't think he's like a wimp out there. Sure, he's not some like yoked out behemoth pushing guys around, but I don't think he's just a pushover either. And of course, he's 7 feet tall and all that. So, that combined with Wendell next to him and whoever else they can get at center, I think Markkanen can be good enough defensively. Although I guess you could ask, well, can he be good enough to play center like that? That might be a different conversation, but I don't know if that's something we need to worry about as much when he's 22 years old. So, yeah. Prediction for a stat line for this upcoming season, I'll say something like 23 points and like 10 boards. Whether Markkanen's playmaking can go to another level is interesting as well. I'd like to think it can because of his handle, but that's something else. So, yeah, Lauri Markkanen. Shout out to Zach LaVine, who I don't hate, even if it sometimes sounds like I do. And yeah,